get going. We're going to start on all fours today. So we're going to come down, hands directly below our shoulders and knees are directly below our hips. We're going to start working through our cat-cow, so arching that back up towards the ceiling. And then lowering our belly, gaze lifts up towards the ceiling. Lifting up, arching that back up. And then lowering down. As you're arching your back up to the ceiling, your gaze comes towards your belly button. Moving through that variation of flexion and extension. Warming up in through your upper back and your lower back. Keeping that belly switched on, so don't just drop the belly down towards the mat. We want to control the movement in both directions. And take some time to focus on your breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Let's go for another 3. 2. Last one. And once you've finished with that cat-cow, bring your spine nice and neutral, so halfway between that cat and cow. Your gaze is lifted about 30 centimetres in front of your hands. We're going to swing our hips across to the left and across to the right. Swinging those hips from side to side, warming up through that lower back. If there's too much pain or tension through your wrists, you can come up onto your fists or down onto your elbows. If you're coming onto your elbows, you want to have those elbows directly underneath your shoulders. And keep sweeping those hips from side to side. Good work. Let's go for 5. Keep that gaze lifted, nice neutral spine. Don't let your belly sink down. 2 and 1. Bring that spine back in line, nice even weight through both hands and both knees. We're going to tuck our toes under and pull our belly button up in towards our spine. We're going for our knee hovers. So we're lifting those knees, hovering off the mat, lower back down. Pressing evenly through both hands and both toes, hover the knees and lower. We're pulling that belly button up in towards our spine to get that engagement through the belly. We're keeping our tail tucked, our gaze is staying lifted, and make sure you're supporting out through those shoulders, so don't let that upper back drop down towards the mat. We're lifting out of those shoulders, hovering the knees and lowering. Control the movement in both directions, don't let those knees drop straight down towards the mat. Lifting and lowering. Good work. Starting to warm up through that belly. Nice long spine. Let's go for 4, 3, 2. We're going to hold those knees hovering on 1 and hold there. Pull the belly button up into your spine for 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Lower those knees down. Untuck your toes. Take a shimmy of those hips from side to side if you need. We're going to reach our left arm long up to about shoulder height. Lower back down to the mat. Reach our right arm forward and lower down. Alternating from side to side. Keeping the rest of the body nice and steady, keeping our shoulders and hips facing down towards the mat. Good work. Next time you reach that left arm long, we're going to lift the right leg long also, lifting it up to about hip height, lower back down. Opposite arm, opposite leg, and lower. We want to keep that tuck of our tail and just lift that leg to about hip height, as we don't want any arching through that lower back. So you're engaging through your bottom, keeping that tuck of your tail, and don't lift that leg too high. You want to feel like you're pulling your fingertips and your toes in opposite directions. Keep the rest of the body nice and steady. Keep your belly button pulling up into your spine for support. Good work. Next time you reach your left arm long and your right leg long, we're going to keep that arm and leg lifted. We're going to bend them back in underneath, but keep them hovering from the mat, straighten them long. Bend back under and straighten long. Keeping that spine nice and neutral for now. Belly button pulling up into your spine. No arching through that lower back, and that slight tuck of your tail. Good work. Let's start adding on with that flexion of our spine. So as we bring the elbow and knee together underneath our body, we're flexing that back up like we did in our cat and cow, and then sending the arm and leg long. Flexing up, little crunch through the belly, elbow and knee meet underneath, and send them long. Crunching up and long. Take some time to focus on your breath. Inhaling, exhaling, crunching, and send them long. Good work. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, keep the shoulders and hips square. 2, last 1, send the hand and leg long, and then release it back down to the mat. We're going to even straight out through the opposite side, so reach your right arm long, left leg long, keep the spine neutral, bend the elbow and knee under, shoot them long. Elbow under, and shoot. So keeping that spine nice and neutral to start off with. Belly button pulling up into your spine and your tail is tucked. Remember those options for your wrists if you need. Come onto your fist or down onto your elbow. Let's start adding on with that flexion of your spine. Your elbow and knee come to meet underneath. Gaze, watch as the elbow and knee meet. Flex that upper back up towards the ceiling. Send the arm and leg long. Flexing up and going long. So we're curving through that spine, returning the spine to neutral as the arm and leg reach long. Good work. Doing that little crunch through the belly as we're arching up. Good work. Let's go for 4, 3, feel that crunch through your belly. 2, last 1, send the hand and foot long, hold and release. Shimmy those hips out from side to side, roll out through those wrists if you need. We're going to come back or stay in that all fours position, hands directly below our shoulders. We're going to hover our right knee up off the mat, send the right leg long. Bend it back in and send it long. Again, we want to make sure we're not lifting that leg too high. So we don't want to lift it past hip height, as we want to get that engagement through our glute, no arching through our back. Keep that belly switched on, pulling up into your spine. And your gaze stays lifted about 30 centimeters in front of your hands. Try and make sure you're not just putting all of the weight across into your left leg. So we want to keep our hips square, even weight through both hands. Good work. Let's go for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Keep that leg long. We're going to tap the front of the foot down to the mat, lift up, tap down, lift up. Keep that belly button pulling up into your spine, that slight tuck of your tail, squeezing through that bottom, no arching through your lower back. Good work. We're going to start adding on. We're going to lift up, bring the leg out about 30 degrees, tap down, lift up, tap through center, lift up, tap out, lift up, tap through center. Feeling that strong lift of the leg and engagement through the glute each time you lift up. Try and stop the rest of the body from swaying, so keep those shoulders square, hips square towards the mat. Gaze stays lifted. Feel that build up through your right glute. Good work. Let's go for 5. Really lifting up. 3, 2, bring the leg back to parallel on 1, lift up to hip height, flex through your toes. We're bending and straightening the leg. Come down onto those forearms if you need to relieve the tension through those wrists. Keep your thigh lifted to hip height. Don't let that knee drop down towards the mat. Make sure you're not shuffling across, putting all of that weight into your left leg for 4, 3, 2, keep the leg lifted to 90 on 1, pulse up through that heel, squeezing through your bottom. Try and make sure the movement's coming from that hip and not from your lower back for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower that leg down and shimmy out through those hips. Come up into your high kneel position. Step your right leg forwards. Sink your weight forwards in through that right leg. You can keep your hands to your hips or on to that front right leg. Pulling your left hip forwards to get that stretch through your hip flexor of that left, so the front of your hip. Relax through those upper shoulders. Start to focus on your breathing. Each time you exhale, shifting those hips a little bit further forwards, pulling that left hip around to keep the hips square towards the front of the room. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Sink a little deeper. Inhale. Exhale. Let's go for one more breath, all the way in and all the way out. Bring your hands to the front of the mat, even with your right foot. Walk your right foot across to the left side of your mat, and then place that right shin parallel to the front of your mat. Send your left leg long, come down onto your forearms, or you can stay up onto your hands. We want to sink evenly through both legs. So we're sinking down with our right glute and through the front of our left hip, evenly down towards the mat, so don't want to twist across to the side. Pushing that left hip down evenly with the right glute. Sinking a little deeper with each exhale. You can stay up on your hands, or you can come down onto your forearms, folding your body over that front leg. If it's too much of a stretch, you can bring your right heel a little bit closer back towards your left hip, which will decrease that stretch. Keep pushing through the front of that left hip. If you'd like to deepen the stretch, you can contract your glutes, so squeeze your bottom. 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then let the glutes go, and you'll sink a little deeper into the stretch. If you'd like further stretch, you can reach your arms long and fold the front of your body over that leg. Whatever works for you. Let's go for another 2 breaths. Sinking deeper with the exhale. Keep pulling through the front of your left hip to keep the hips square. All the way in and all the way out. Walk those hands back to the front of your mat. Uncross that right leg, coming back into that 4-point kneel position. We're going to do a little bit more core work before we even out through that left glute. So hands directly underneath your shoulders, knees directly underneath your hip. Pull your belly up into your spine and tuck that tail under. We're going to again reach that left arm long, right leg long. Hold there. Sweep the left arm out to about 30 degrees. Right leg out to the right side about 30 degrees. Bring them back through center. Release back down. Bring your right arm forward, left leg long. Sweep them out to the side, keeping your body square. Come back through center and release. Feeling that engagement through your side waist. Keep your gaze lifted, that nice long spine. If it's too much going out to about 30 degrees, just do a smaller movement. So you can just go about 10 and come back through. Keep your belly lifting up into that spine. Sweeping out. Make sure we're not swinging the body from side to side. It should just be that arm and leg moving further out to the side, back to parallel and release. Good work. Focus on keeping that body nice and square. Let's go for 2 more to each side. Gaze is staying lifted 30 centimeters in front of that hand. Good work. Nice and steady. Last one. Release the hand and the leg back down. Tuck your toes under like we did at the start. We're going to start off with that knee hover once more. So lifting those knees up off the mat, pulling your belly button up into your spine and release down. Hover the knees and release. Stay lifted out of those shoulders. Don't let that upper back sink down towards the mat. Tail stays tucked and that belly button is pulling up into your spine. Next time you hover the knees off the mat, we're going to send our bottom up into the air, coming up into that pike, folding our body in half. Release back to the knee hover, release the knees. Hover the knees, bottom up towards the ceiling. So you want to feel like a string is pulling that bottom up towards the ceiling. Folding your body in half. Good work. Keeping that nice long spine even when you're folding your body in half. Bringing our body a little bit closer towards our knees each time we fold. If you're feeling comfortable, you don't need to release those knees. You can just go from your pike to your knee hover. Remember to return your head back to looking in front of your hands each time you come to that knee hover. Really feel like you're folding your body in half as you come up. Good work. Don't sink down into your shoulders. Let's go for 3. Pike your bottom up. It's being pulled by a string. 2. Hold up into your pike on 1. Try and fold yourself a little bit further in half. We're going to pulse through those legs, pulsing one heel down towards the mat. And then the opposite, like we're walking out through those heels, lifting up onto your toes of one leg. Bring the heel down, stretching out through those calves. Keep your bottom lifting up towards the ceiling. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2. Bring both heels down towards the mat on 1. Keep that belly lifting up towards the ceiling, folding in half. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release down out of your pike. Release those knees. direction and rolling in the opposite direction. We're going to even out through our left glute, so you can come onto those fists if your wrists or elbows are starting to feel uncomfortable from being in that all fours position, or come down onto your forearms with your elbow directly underneath your shoulder. Whatever position you've chosen, stick with that. We're going to hover the left knee up off the mat, straighten the left leg long, bend it back under and straighten. Good work. Make sure you're not just shifting all your weight across to the right. So we're going to keep our hips square, our shoulders square, and even weight through both hands. That gaze is staying lifted, our tail is tucked, and our belly is pulling up in towards our spine. We're just lifting that leg to about hip height so that we're getting that engagement through our glute and not getting the arching through our lower back. Good work. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, reach the leg long on 1. Going to tap our front of our toes down towards the mat, lift up, tap down and lift. Good work. Remembering if this ever gets too uncomfortable, change the position of those hands. And if you want to take the pressure off the wrists and elbows all together, you can place your forearms onto a chair instead. No arching through your lower back, pulling that belly button up into your spine. We're adding on, we're going to lift up, tap the toes out to 30, lift up, tap through center, lift up, tap out, lift up through center. Still keeping those hips square, try and stop the body from swaying, and really lifting up through that hip, engaging through your glute between each tap. Good work. So more a slow tap down and a quick lift up, feeling that build in through your left glute. Good work. Let's go for 4, 3, keep those hips square, shoulders square, 2, last one, bring the leg back to parallel, lift the leg to hip height, flex through your toes, bend and straighten through that leg. Keep your thigh lifted up, your knee lifted to hip height. Don't let it drop down. We're bending and straightening through the lower part of that leg. Keep your toes flexed. Squeeze through that bottom. You've got 5, 4, 3, 2. Keep the leg bent on 1. Toes flexed. Lift up through the heel. Lifting the knee. Squeezing through that bottom. No arching through your lower back. The movement comes from your hip. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower that leg and shimmy out through those hips. Come up into your high kneel position. Roll those wrists in one direction and in the opposite direction. Then bring your hands to your hips. Step that left leg forwards and sink forwards into your hip flexor stretch. You can keep your hands to your hips or bring your hands to that front leg. We're pulling our right hip around to keep the hips square towards the front of the room. So we don't want to feel like we're twisting across to the side. We want to keep those hips square and parallel to the front. Start to focus on your breath, in through your nose, out through your mouth. As you're exhaling, sinking a little bit deeper into that stretch, feeling that stretch in through the front of your right hip. Relax through your shoulders. Keep your head lifting up towards the ceiling as if you've got a string on your head, so that nice long spine. Let's go for 2 more breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth, sinking a little deeper. Inhale and exhale. Bring your hands down onto the mat so that they're either side of that left leg. Walk your left foot across to the right side of your mat. Place that left shin down so it's parallel to the front of the mat. You can stay up on your hands, or you can come down onto your forearms. We're sinking evenly through our left glute and through the front of our right hip. If it's too much of a stretch for you, you can bring that left heel a little bit closer towards your right hip, so further down the mat, so that the stretch is not as strong through that left glute. Come down onto your forearms if you can, and we're going to sink evenly through that right hip and left glute. If you like, you can contract through both glute muscles, so through your bottom, squeezing it together, release that squeeze, and you'll sink a little bit deeper into that stretch. You can also push your left shin into the mat and then release, and that will deepen your stretch also. If you'd like to further encourage the stretch, reach your hands long and fold your body over that front shin and stay there, keeping even weight through both hips, sinking evenly. Let's go for 2 more breaths here. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Keep those hips square. All the way in and all the way out. Walk those hands back to the front of your leg. Uncross that left leg. Open your knees out a little bit wider than your hips. We're going to sink back into our child's pose. Come forwards into that all four. Sink back and come forwards. Sinking your hips down towards your heels, coming back to that all fours position, mobilizing through our hips and through our lower back. Good work. Let's go for 4, 3, 2, sink all the way back on 1, relax your bottom down towards your heels, relax your head, relax through your chest, reaching those arms long. Focusing on that breath, inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth, allowing those hips to sink down towards your heels, allowing that upper back to sink between your shoulder blades. In through the nose, out through the mouth, everything sinks. 1 more breath all the way in and all the way out. Push up through those hands and come all the way to lie onto your belly. If you've got issues with your lower back, you may wish to place a rolled up towel or a pillow underneath your belly so that you're not allowing that lower back to go into extension. We're bringing our hands out to the sides like we're in a goalpost position. So elbows up at shoulder height and then fingertips pointing up near the head. Relax through your legs, so allow those legs to be nice and heavy, untuck those toes. And you can either bring your head face straight down onto the mat, or you can turn your head to one side. Gently push that pubic bone into the mat to protect your lower back. We're going to lift up through our hands and our forearms. Lift up through those elbows, lifting them a little bit higher than those forearms. Release and release. Lifting up and then elbows, release and release. Keep that pubic bone pushing in to the mat to protect your lower back. Each time you're lifting, we want to lift those elbows a little bit higher than our forearms and hands to get that engagement through those muscles around our shoulder blade. Working through those nice postural muscles. Good work. Keep that pubic bone pushing into the mat. We don't want all that arching through our lower back. Good work. We're going to start adding on. Next time you lift up through your elbows, we're going to lift up through our chest, lifting that chest off the mat, gliding those shoulder blades down our back, keeping the lower ribs on the mat. Release the extension, release the arms. Forearms and wrists lift, elbows lift, come up into that extension, keeping your neck long. So don't just lift up through your head. We're lifting up through our chest, feeling those shoulder blades glide down our rib cage, keeping those lower ribs on the mat so that we're getting that extension through our upper back and not just through that lower back. Keep that pubic bone pushing into the mat so that we're protecting that lower back. Good work. Forearms and hands, elbows, and extend, squeeze those shoulder blades together. Let's add on again. Next time you come up into extension, we're going to send our arms long, reach those fingertips long, bring them back down to the goalpost position. Release the extension, release the arms. Lift, lift, extend, reach the arms long, side and down. Good work. Keep working through that movement. Keep protecting that lower back. If it's getting too uncomfortable, place a pillow or a towel underneath that belly. Make sure you're pushing your pubic bone into the mat. Or if it's too much, just don't work through that extension. Keep your head on the ground and you can just do the arm movement. Good work. Next time you come up into extension, we're going to stay up and just work through those arms, reaching the fingertips long, down by the side, reach them long and down to the goalpost position. Good work. Stay up in that extension if you can. If it's too much on your lower back, you can just do the arm movement with your head down on the mat. Keep your elbows lifted higher than your forearms to really work in through those postural muscles. Good work. Let's go for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release the body and release those arms. Tuck your toes under, push through your hands, sink back into that child's pose position, reaching your hands long. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Those knees are open out wide, hips sinking back towards your heels, upper back relaxing down towards the mat. Allowing the body to sink deeper towards the mat with each exhale. Walk your left hand off to the side of your mat. Bring that right hand to stack on top of your left. Sink down through your right shoulder and through your right hip, feeling that stretch down the side of your body. And take a few big breaths as you exhale, allowing that right shoulder and hip to sink further down towards the mat. Feeling that nice opening through your rib cage and underneath your shoulder, all the way in, all the way out. Let's go for one more breath. All the way in and all the way out. Walk your hands across to the opposite side, so right hand across off the mat. Left hand comes to stack on top of your right. Sink down through your left shoulder and your left hip, opening out through that left side of your body, through the rib cage, encouraging that nice side bend stretch. Inhale, exhale, allow that left hip and left shoulder to sink further down towards the mat. Inhale and exhale. Let's go for 2 more breaths. Last one, all the way in and all the way out. Walk those hands back through center. Reach them long, relax through your body. One more big breath through center. All the way in and all the way out. Press through those hands. Come all the way up. We're going to our forearms. Reach those knees a little bit longer, coming into our half plank position. Your toes are tucked under, pulling your belly up in towards your spine. We're going to lift one knee up to come into that full plank position, lower back down. Lift the opposite knee and lower. Lift and lower. Keep your head nice and long, so neck long. Keep your belly pulling up into your spine. Your elbows are directly below your shoulders. We're lifting our knee and lowering, opposite knee and lowering. Good work. If you'd like to increase your challenge, you're coming to your full plank, lower one knee and lift, opposite knee and lift. So same movement, just a different starting position. Good work. Lower and lift and lower and lift. Good work. Keep that perfect plank position, lifting out of your shoulders. Don't sink through that lower back. Let's go for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pick your plank, full plank or half plank. We're going to dip our hips across to one side, back through centre, other side, back through centre. You can do this on your knees or on your toes, dipping those hips through centre, opposite way through centre. Keep lifting out of those shoulders, dipping through those hips. Good work. You've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring those hips back through centre. We're going to hold through that perfect plank, either half plank on your knees or full plank on your toes. Hold there for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release those knees. Come on to your side and swing your legs around to come to a seated position. You can sit cross-legged or have your legs out in front of you, whatever is comfortable for you. We're going to bring our hands out to our sides. We're going to lift up tall through our left hand. Gently bend across to the side. Try and feel like you're reaching your fingertips long towards the corner of the room. You may wish to gently put some pressure through that right hand onto the mat. Sink through that right shoulder to encourage the stretch further. Release that left hand down onto the mat. Reach up tall with the right. And then gently bend to the side, reaching those fingertips long towards the corner of the room. Gently pushing through the floor with that left hand, sinking through your left shoulder to deepen the stretch on the right side, opening up through the rib cage. Alternating from side to side, reaching up tall and then reaching long to the corner of the room. Alternating side to side, relax through those upper shoulders. Keep your shoulders facing forwards. Don't open up through that body. You can start adding on with a little bit of rotation. You're going to sweep that arm long, coming in front of one knee. Feel like you're opening up through that rib cage. Sweep across to the opposite side and release. Lift up tall, bend to the side, sweeping that arm forwards. Feel like you're breaking open those muscles in behind your shoulder blade, opening out through your rib cage. Reaching those fingertips long will deepen the stretch. I'm going to sit up tall first, bend to the side, reach long with those fingertips, and then keep that reach as you sweep your arm forwards. Let's pick up the pace, sweeping forwards, lifting tall, and sweep. Good work. Feel that nice mobility through your spine. You might notice a difference from one side to the other, usually depending on if you're left-handed or right-handed. You'll feel a little bit more restricted. Good work. Let's go for another 2 and 1, and release those hands back down by your side. Reach your hands out, relax through your shoulders, so coming into that nice capital T position, but feel those shoulder blades glide down your rib cage so that you're not bringing those shoulders up near your ears. We're going to twist to the right, come back through center, twist to the left, and back through center. Keep those shoulder blades gliding down your rib cage, relaxing through those upper shoulders and through your neck. If it's too much for you, you can bring those hands a little bit lower so that you're not getting that increased activation through your neck. Good work. Turning your gaze so that the head is staying midline between those arms. Inhale as you come through center and exhale into the stretch. Next time you twist across to the right, we're going to hold the arms twisted to the right. Bring your gaze back to the front as you inhale. Exhale, twist a little bit further as your gaze comes back in line with your body. Head comes forward, inhale, exhale, increase the stretch. Last one, gaze comes forward, gaze in line with your body as you twist, come back through center. One to the left, twisting to the left, feel those shoulder blades glide down your rib cage, gaze comes forward, gaze in line with your body, twist a little bit further. Gaze comes forward, in line with your body, twist, last one, twist and release. Bring your hands to your shoulders, roll out through those shoulders 5 times backwards, 3, 2 and 1. Draw circles with those elbows forwards, circling forwards for 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Hands come to your lap. Bring your right hand up towards your head. Gently bring your right ear towards your right shoulder. Place that left hand onto the mat beside you. Sink down through your left shoulder, dropping that shoulder down towards the mat. Inhale, exhale, bring that right ear a little bit closer towards your shoulder, feeling that nice stretch down the side of your neck. Inhale, exhale, turn your chin so that your chin comes towards your chest, your gaze towards your armpit, feeling that stretch all the way up the back of your neck into the base of your skull. Keep sinking through that left shoulder, dropping it down towards the mat to deepen your stretch. Inhale, gently tilt the head a little bit further on the exhale. Inhale, exhale, release your head. Bring that left hand up towards your head. Gently tilt your left ear down towards your left shoulder. Place your right hand onto the mat beside you. Sink your right shoulder directly down towards the mat to deepen that stretch. Feeling that nice stretch down the side of your neck. As you exhale, gently bend that left ear a little bit closer towards your left shoulder. Inhale, exhale, turn your chin to your chest. Your gaze comes to your armpit. Keep sinking that right shoulder down towards the mat to deepen the stretch. Inhale, exhale, nod that chin a little bit closer towards your chest. Sink through that right shoulder. Inhale, exhale, release that head. Turn your gaze to the right, so keep your shoulders facing forward, just twisting through that head. And then gently bring your gaze up towards the ceiling, tilting that head backwards, feeling that stretch down the front of your neck. Inhale, exhale, sink through that left shoulder to deepen the stretch down the front of your neck. Inhale, exhale, release your head. Gently turning to the opposite side, so to the left. And then tilting your head back, gaze looking up towards the ceiling, feeling that stretch down the front of your neck on that right side. Sink your right shoulder down towards your lap or towards the mat, feeling that stretch in the front of your neck.